Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Are we doing a dance? To the right.
Smoke from the Lucy drip, hold it like a crucifix. Blow from the nose, I'm a dragon of a
And welcome to AFTERBUZZ. This is Jon Manganello, and this is the after show for American Crime, Season 2, Episode 6. I have a beautiful panel here,
for a while.
as per usual. You guys want to all introduce yourselves?
Yeah, why not? Why not? And you guys are listening to Live Cheat Still by Run the Jewels. It's one of my favorite songs right now. Hi guys, I'm Erica Renee Davis. You can find me on Snapchat, Periscope, Twitter, and YouTube, and Instagram at Erica Renee D.
I'm Erica Jaye Green. You can find me on all social media at Erica Jaye Green. That's spelled Jaye.
What's up, everybody? I'm Joshua Johnson. You can find me on social media at JJ the Talented.
And once again, I'm Johnny Manganello. You can find me at Johnny Mangs on Twitter and Instagram. You guys, we have so much to talk about, as we always do with American Crime. Each episode is action-packed, isn't it? Yeah. Although we have a split panel tonight, so I'm interested in talking to everybody about how you liked the episode and how you did not like the episode. Let's jump right into things, and you guys can tweet along with us, hashtag ABTV American Crime. Make sure you're asking questions. We're looking at the live scroll on our YouTube page right now, and also we'll be checking Twitter throughout the night. All right, so I want to start by talking about, let's see here, Eric, because he was sort of one of the main focuses of this episode, if not the main character of the episode. And a lot happened over his arc in the episode. At the beginning, he wakes up and gets out of bed, and his brother sees him, right? And is sort of like angry with him. And then he goes and plays basketball. It seems like his brother doesn't want him around, right?
Yeah,
do you agree with that?
And I can get that. I mean, I don't know if we decided what state they're in, but I think they're in the Midwest, Indiana.
They're in Indianapolis.
Indiana, okay, Indianapolis.
Yeah, right. Indianapolis. Yep.
And so, just from growing up in a small southern town myself, I understand the psyche when someone comes out as being gay. Like, no one understands it. So I understand his brother not wanting to be around him. Not saying that I approve of his actions, but he's a teenager, and homosexuality to him, I'm sure, is a foreign concept. So although it's sad, but it's true. I mean, it's authentic, I think.
Yeah, I kind of feel sorry for Eric. He's like the victim to me now. I mean, it's going from like Taylor. I don't see Taylor as the victim right now. I'm sorry, because right now we're still, because we don't. It's kind of unfolding that we're not sure.
Did you see the last 5 minutes of the episode? I'm kidding.
The last 5 minutes of this episode?
Yeah.
What happened? Did I miss something?
When he's getting jumped, or when he's about to get attacked?
After that. Well, before he got his butt beat, I would have been on Taylor's side. But before that, I was feeling sorry for him. We were talking about the beginning.
No, I know.
No, at the end, yeah, that was very unfortunate. But yeah, I was feeling sorry for Eric, 'cause just being in high school, you know, that's your world. And when everyone turns their back on you, you're kind of like that lonely kid that walks around and eats in the bathroom. I never did that.
Who eats in the bathroom?
just to warn everybody out there, she was never the lonely girl. Is that true?
Were you?
Well, I want to hear about this.
Maybe 1 year.
Were you?
That was your first year at this school.
I'm sorry.
Okay, can we go back to the show? Taylor?
Hey, you brought it up.
Can't sit here.
So yeah, I think it's interesting, and maybe it's that I live in Los Angeles and I went to school, I went to college in a really accepting city, but for some reason all these prejudices we're getting against gay people seem very like 1999. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like we've advanced past this, but again, that might just be me. That might be the privilege I have living in an accepting place.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what the people who live around the country feel about that.
And Josh, you're from LA, so like, what is your perspective on being somebody who's from LA and how gay and homosexuality lifestyles are portrayed?
I get it. I get, like you said, I get what his brother's feeling. I don't know if I say this. At one point in my life, I might have felt the same way.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can totally understand it, but now, you know, growing up and living in a place like LA, because I didn't grow up in LA per se, but living in a place where it's more accepted, and then like just broadening my perspective. Certainly my ideology has changed, and I see things a lot differently now. But I certainly can see, like, growing up for me, gay was a bad word. You call somebody gay when you didn't like them or something like that, and it was something like that's bad. People, that's a sin.
Sure.
So I mean, I get this, the Midwest or small town mentality.
And I mean, I'm from the Midwest, and of course it was, people used gay in that way, and I'm sure some people still do. I also am thrilled to go back to the Midwest, and my cousin, who's 10 years younger than me, tells me that 20 kids are out in his class alone.
Oh, wow.
When I was a freshman in high school, 0.
Right.
Yeah.
So it seems like, hey, listen, I'm from the Midwest, I get that. I just think that we have evolved. So that's why when I see this episode, I'm like, wow, the basketball players don't even want to take a shower with him. Guess what? People at home, that's not how gay works, okay? We don't want to just fuck you all. Pardon my French.
As a high school kid, though, you don't get that. You're just thinking like, oh, this guy's gay. Now he's going to want to look at me.
True.
When I'm in the shower.
But I don't even think that's just a high school thing. I think about when Jason Collins, a basketball player, came out, and when Michael Sam came out, there were players who tweeted.
It's a good point.
They tweeted. They said, well, he's in our locker room. Do I want to be in the same locker room walking around naked with Michael Sam? And listen, I work out in West Hollywood at the 24-hour fitness in West Hollywood. What's up, WeHo? And a lot of people who go to that gym are gay, and I personally am not bothered by the gay women or the transgenders who come in the locker room. But are people wrong for feeling uncomfortable?
No, I wouldn't call them wrong. I think they don't know. They don't have the information. I feel, because I can certainly see. That would be my thought. Okay, I'm just gonna go out and say that. Okay, if I had a teammate who came out as gay, I would wonder if he would look at me in the shower. I would feel something. I would feel kind of weird about that, because I don't know. Now it changes things. It definitely does change things. So
I think that's to suggest that the shower room has to be this place of sexuality. Okay, listen, I understand, and I don't even know. I think this is a bigger conversation than we as a panel are going to be able to have, because we have an episode to talk about. But I do think there's a fine line between wrong and uneducated.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's maybe not wrong of someone to be freaked out, but I think those people maybe need to be educated and know that just because I'm gay doesn't mean I want to fuck every straight guy I see.
I agree with
True.
that. For
I
sure.
don't want to have. Sorry, I keep swearing. I just get passionate about this. I don't want to have sex with any straight guy.
But you might want to look at his penis in the shower, though, no?
You know what, Erica? There's a lot of penises on the World Wide Web that I can see.
I just think it's like a human nature thing. It's like the first thing that comes to mind. I don't know if someone would actually act on their bias, but it's, the original thought would be, he just came in the shower with me. Oh, should I turn around a little bit? But that's my boy. Maybe he's not. But if you see him looking, you're gonna be like, oh, what you looking at?
Right.
Let's jump forward here. We can come back to this later, and you can tweet about it. I want to talk about the weird assembly pep rally thing. Okay, we'll talk about Leslie's perspective in a moment, because that's bizarre. But let's talk about Eric. He had to give that weird speech that was so half-assed, I couldn't believe it. Like, obviously, he was reading from the speech, felt uncomfortable, it felt forced, and I said it felt very rehearsed, although not polished. People in the audience were having, waving gay pride flags. I wrote, this is so odd. Did you guys think it was odd as well?
I thought it was very high school, because remember going to assemblies in high school, whether it was about drug awareness or sex, education, we all were just kind of awkward and not really wanting to be there. And so I thought the awkwardness of the crowd was consistent with what I would think a high school crowd would act like. And I also think that Eric's speech was what I would do at 17 years old if I had to come out gay in front of my entire school.
I see how you feel bad for him. He's like a puppet now, yeah?
Yeah, oh my gosh, that whole thing was like, it made me feel uncomfortable why he was giving this speech. And then Leslie standing over there like, one of those moms who do the pageant.
Oh, the stage mom.
She's on the
stage
side,
mom.
yes, moving her mouth kind of. I'm like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And to force a child to do that who's not even her child.
True.
Did you have any thoughts on this?
I'm surprised he went through with it. I mean, why did Leslie feel the need to kind of parade him in front of the school and make this example out of him?
Right.
We're so inclusive. I mean, sometimes you can totally see that he's not really that into it. He's just going through the motions, but he's not comfortable with just coming out for everyone, I don't think. I don't think someone in his position would most times wouldn't feel that way.
I'll tell you my take on why Leslie did this, and that is because Leslie doesn't miss an opportunity to show herself in the best light possible. For example, she's using this tragic thing that has happened, and there have been so many young lives that potentially are destroyed because of this potential rape.
Yeah.
And she is going about it in all the wrong ways. She's saying, well, if we have this assembly, if we have this pep rally, you know, that can be in the newspaper. So our name can be, you know, people can think of us as a good school, not a bad school.
No, she said that.
Yeah.
She
I think she did say that.
Who, the superintendent?
Yeah.
Who was the guy who was ahead of her?
Yeah, I didn't
Dawn.
know who that was.
Yeah.
Dawn.
I know it's going to sound as if I'm siding with Leslie, but I think she's a master manipulator.
Oh, for sure.
She's a master manipulator, and having Eric do that speech. Now, granted, where were his parents? Why did his parents co-sign this activity? I don't know, but that's neither here nor there. Leslie is the ultimate PR person, and I think having Eric have his little coming out speech at school was smart PR.
Yeah. She's definitely good at PR for sure.
Well, this is a great segue to the next weird thing that Leslie forced Eric to do, which was talk to the writer. First of all, at the beginning of the episode, she asks her assistant to find an openly gay writer, and she's like, okay, and she's like, go find it. So she does.
Just one quick thing before we get to that,
please,
about the whole assembly, because it was such a small little moment. But did you see? I have it here when the coach said Eric was the bravest man he knew at the assembly. Kevin gave him a look, like some kind of look was there, and I felt like it kind of, for me, it felt like Kevin knew or indicated somehow that the coach knows something that we don't know yet.
You guys, the panel has said this week after week. There's something going on with the coach. There's something going on with the coach. I keep missing that.
I felt that moment was kind of like another point on the side of, hey, the coach is up to something that we don't know. It'll be revealed eventually, I think, but that little look that he gave the coach just kind of, indicated that for me.
Very interesting.
Is Dan Chester the child molester?
Oh.
I don't know.
Wow, man, that would be...
Ooh.
Wow.
Because he is a little shady.
So Leslie, I do want to talk about Dan. Let's talk about Leslie and Eric talking to the writer. Now, I need to tell you guys something because I didn't know this, but I read this article. And I'm going to use some language here, and I think it's important to say the actual word in this case. It's the first time that the word faggot has been used on ABC.
Okay.
Was in this episode by Eric. So this is, again, John Ridley breaking ground. I'm very proud of him and the writers, it's Kirk and everybody who writes on the show. So give it up to them. And Eric has this line. He says, "I'm gay, but I'm not a faggot." Mm-hmm. That was crazy. Yeah. Leslie was like, oh no.
Okay, I'm gonna say this, and I have a lot of gay guy friends, and they say something similar. They say, "I'm gay, but I'm not a queen." Mm-hmm. Is that what he meant? Like that's what I perceive him to mean. Like, I'm gay, but I'm not. He likes to call it a bitch. Yeah. Right. And so I don't know. I wasn't. That didn't blow my mind because I think it's consistent with what a lot of gay guys who want to identify as super macho, but don't want to be considered super effeminate.
There's this think piece I saw floating around the internet this week, all about gay men being prejudiced against feminine gay men, and that's some deep-seated issue right there. I was talking to my friend Derek about it this week. I believe that if we're going to use that word, if we're trying to reclaim that word, okay, but use it in a positive way as opposed to as an insult, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's what I like about American Crime. They showed those prejudice within groups, like they showed within the Mexican groups. They showed it within, the communities and stuff like that. And it shows you what's going on behind the scenes of what's going on in that person's mind. So Eric, but he's so misguided. And, we could say, because he's young, he's a child. But I'm like, dang, I remember being that age, and I had 2 jobs, and I was a little bit more together than he was. He throws around bitch and this and that every other moment. So it's obviously something going on in there more than confusion. I know that word was thrown out there 10, 15 times during this episode. Confused. Well, look at the parents.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a big thing in this show, is that the 2 sets of parents are really messed up. The two sets of parents of the gay kids. I'm not talking about Terry and
Taylor. Okay.
Yeah. Michael. We'll get to that. Eric's dad asks Eric's mom to come back.
Yeah.
mom says that if Eric died, at least they could be a family again. But now that Eric's gay, they can't even go to their church.
And again, another, listen, I'm from Georgia, and that's how it works. It's like you come out as gay, or it's not so much about, this is not such a case anymore, but back in the day, if you got pregnant in high school, you better go, to the next town over and have that baby and then come back, and not be pregnant. You're gay, okay, we're gonna keep that to ourselves. Everyone's gonna act like they don't know. So I, again, appreciate the writers. Whoever wrote that is truly authentic to what at least I knew growing up.
Yeah, that's true. I was listening to a comedian earlier this week said the same thing. Like, and if you tell a black father that you shot a guy and are going to jail for the next 20 years, he'd be like, well, we'll put some money on your books, we'll pray for you, and that kind of thing. But if you tell him that you're gay, he'll die. That's he'll have a heart attack and die.
Remember episode 1 or 2 when Michael, his name's Michael?
Yeah.
Said, freaked out and went into Kevin's room and was like, you're not gay, are you? He's like, no. And he's like, okay, cool.
And why?
It's like, wait, but you may have raped somebody. But the fact that that's not the issue, that you threw this party and there was a sexual assault. Oh no, the issue is that you're gay.
Right.
Why have the parents not had the heart-to-heart with Eric about his homosexuality? Because I think there was maybe last episode, the week before, where Eric gave his dad an opportunity to have the conversation, and I just think it's very curious that we have not seen the father have the heart-to-heart. No one has had the heart-to-heart about why he's gay. I think Ann and Taylor have even been a little bit more specific about why he's gay, but the mother and the father have thought about it, but no one has said to Eric, when did you start feeling this way? When did you, and I think that again goes back to bad parenting. I keep calling people bad parents and bad coaches. I know I have no leg to stand on. I don't have any kids, but I can call a spade when I see one. These people aren't talking to their kids, and it's killing me.
No, it's a good point, and I think that in a way, you're right, Anne has talked to Taylor about it, but also Anne still calls him confused. So I don't know which parent is better, which set of parents is worse. Also, the mom says she's scared that the family's gonna get sued because they're poor and they don't have money for lawyers. I thought that was really interesting, right? That was something that happened in season 1 as well. Alonzo and his family were worried about the lawsuit because they're like, we don't have money. And remember, Alonzo was gonna put all his money into the lawsuit. And, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw that, but so it's interesting. Yeah,
I like the fact in that scene that she kind of, not really accused, but thought of, she asked the dad if he had touched him when he was younger.
That was crazy.
Which is so real to me, because that's the assumption, you're gay because you had some kind of experience as a kid.
Right. Well, that's the uneducated. I mean, I'm sorry, but I thought that too before I was out and gay and researched and realized, oh no. I had a coworker the other day ask me. She was like, "Hey, is it true that a lot of people are gay because they were molested as a kid?" And I was like, "Well, I know about every gay person in the planet because I live in West Hollywood, and nobody has ever told me that." So I think that's a misconception.
Okay, let me ask you this: playing devil's advocate, do you think that there is a possibility? Because so I have the belief that people are born gay. I do believe that people are born gay. I don't believe that people. I mean, I do believe that some people just choose to have fun sometimes. So I do believe that people are born gay.
Sure.
But do you think that there are some people who were molested, whether by a man or a woman, who became sexually confused at a young age, and then chose a lifestyle based on being taken advantage of?
I don't know. I can't speak on that because I just genuinely don't know.
Okay.
What I do know is that we shouldn't project that onto people who say they're gay. I don't know.
Okay.
That's my opinion. Eric was upset that he was having to speak right when the writer was talking to him, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not here. I'm not an activist, basically." And Leslie asked the reporter not to use the quote when he says the word. I just wanted to get back to that because I forgot that bit. Not passing to Eric in the game. Oh yes, do you remember that in the basketball game?
Yeah.
They're so freaked out.
Yeah.
I kind of missed that part.
They're not passing the ball to Eric when they're playing basketball.
Yeah, even Kevin.
He's open. He's ready to win the game for them.
What's up with Kevin? It's like he knows something, because whenever he made that statement, Taylor outs him, he already knew that Eric was gay.
Yeah.
And the way he looked at the coach and stuff like that, it's like he knows something more than everyone else knows, but they're not making it clear. So does anybody?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and this is crazy. But for a second in in the show, in the last episode, I felt like okay, maybe Kevin is hiding.
That's what I was thinking.
When did you feel that?
That is what I was thinking.
In the when he was talking to the team in the restaurant,
saying that's an interesting point. Yeah, because he kept calling both Eric and the bitch Taylor bitches. And remember, he was like, "My mom said bitches always want something from you. Bitches always want to take." What's the actual quote? I wrote it down.
He's exhibiting those traits that Eric has too. So I'm just like, he's going a little too hard on it. And when you're overcompensating for something, you kind of like, play up on stuff.
Right.
So he's doing that a little too much. And I'm just like, but they keep taking that away. They take that off of Kevin. So I don't know if that's going to come back up or come back around to him. I was wondering if anybody else caught it.
So you got the same.
Yeah, for a millisecond, I was like, hold on now.
Okay.
Is that I
was like, the brother kind of cute, but...
I disagree.
Okay,
I disagree.
I thought so.
I thought that his little speech in the restaurant was a homeboy taking up for another homeboy. Like I took out of the equation that Eric and Taylor are gay and just thought about how high school boys how men in general like take up, like, oh, that's my dog, and that girl over there, that girl's a bitch.
I think he's planting the seeds for the beating up at the end of the episode.
I'm not saying he wasn't planting those seeds, but he was like, oh, Eric, he's gay. Like, I know he's gay. Well, that's whatever. But Taylor's a bitch. Like, I really thought that that Kevin was speaking that way, not because he's also gay, but because he was just like, dude, my homeboy is gay, and this little bitch is being a bitch, and
I get that.
We're going to handle that.
I get what you're saying. I actually think that's fair. Because he is protecting one gay guy, but he's throwing another gay guy, a gay guy he doesn't know at all, in the mud. I mean, he's dragging his name through the mud.
But he's throwing his name in the mud because, like, think about
that because you're saying he's sticking up
for his friend. Okay. Like, it could be a dog, a cat, a giraffe, a girl, it could be whomever. That, like, Eric is his homeboy. At the beginning of the season, Kevin really wanted to pass him the ball. Beginning of the season, he said, Mom, if I want to be a man, you tell me to be a man, I need to take up for my friend. I need to make sure Eric is, safe and has legal representation too. I think this is consistent with him taking up for his friend. And Taylor could be...
Or hiding something and trying to cover his butt.
I mean, I see both points. Okay. When I watched it, I thought that there was a flash there that the possibility that he could be gay.
I wouldn't be surprised is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We got to move on to Ann and Taylor.
Poor Ann.
Ann is frustrated that no one is doing anything, as per usual. Taylor is hanging out at that guy's house, the fellow student that he's he said, I'm seeing him, so I don't know what exactly they're doing. But he says he has to go see his therapist, and the guy says, don't go, stay here. You're missing school anyway. You might as well stay here, which I thought was interesting. He's already missing school, and he just started at
that was fun. I thought that was fun.
And the guy he's seen says, you did not get raped, by the way. You asked for it.
Yeah.
Wait. I'm confused now. So the guy whose house he was hanging out at, the one who choked him.
Yeah.
What guy was that?
The guy from the bathroom.
That's the same guy from the bathroom?
That's the bathroom guy.
That came up to me. He was like...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him for some reason.
What did you guys think of him choking him and saying, no, you did like it?
Clearly at some point, he is liking that. People know that he likes this. He likes it rough. So,
I mean, who doesn't like it? I was like,
but I don't think Taylor does. I think Taylor.
I cannot figure Taylor out yet. There's so much going on within Taylor. Like, first you're confused. You lied to Effie. You're a liar. We know that you're a liar.
He
did lie to Effie.
He lied to Effie.
Effie, whatever, the girlfriend.
Effie. Yeah. So we can already say he's a liar.
Well,
that's a fact. He even said, "I lied."
Sure.
He lied. So I'm not quite believing really anything that Taylor says. And then with the conversation between him and Eric, oh, well, you know what happened. Why would you even meet up with someone that you claim raped you?
True. Well,
I don't want to see in a dark place at nighttime.
I agree. It was a dumb decision to go there. However, I could see him saying, I want this to be over. The best way is to go to the root of the problem.
Taylor, there's just something there that I'm just like, that kid is...
He's wet behind the ears. I mean, he's young and dumb. But so are all the kids.
See, and this is where it becomes so convoluted. This is where it's going to sound like, again, I'm apologizing for whoever allegedly raped him. I believe, we know that he sent text messages saying, I like it rough. You know, I'm quick to come. So we know that he said that. And I think that Taylor wanted to play around with some hardcore, rough foreplay and rough sex. And maybe when it got right in the middle of it, like right before it went in, maybe like, no, I don't.
But saying I like it rough, saying I like it rough, that's not a ticket for someone to do anything they want to you. At every stage, there has to be consent.
Yeah, that's it's an indication.
I don't want to speak on this because it's getting some blur. Because like every stage, I just don't.
If you say no, then they have to stop.
Okay.
I mean, look, if you say no when you're already in the middle of it,
no.
Okay. I mean, I'm not saying.
Okay, yeah.
No, because I could say, hey, so and so, I want to have sex, and then we could start having sex, and then halfway through I could be like, you know what? I don't want to do this
but
anymore.
Saying you like it rough, in those parameters of liking it rough, no can mean yes.
Ooh,
there's a blur.
That's a good
and this
point.
is why
That's
people have safe words. This is why people, communicate with each other.
Maybe it was so rough he didn't hear the safe word.
I cannot.
Okay, sorry.
I mean, it's not a laughing matter, but
I'm just saying. Exactly. It is not black and white. Of course, I'm not suggesting it is. What I'm saying is we weren't there. We didn't see it, so we just don't know. And I'm always gonna side with the person who says I was raped.
Really?
Until yes, I because I don't think that means we should take the alleged rapists and write about them on social media and say they're awful, they're definitely guilty. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is, okay, I will listen to what you're
Of course.
Yeah, if there's an allegation.
But I agree, you guys, it's very murky waters we're in here.
I just definitely hear what he's saying. Like, you're saying no, but you're like, I like it rough, and I'm choking you. You're saying you're like that, but it's confused. Like, do you like it or no? It's like, no, stop, no, like, don't stop. You know, it's like...
No is well within the confines of liking it rough.
Yes, that's a very good point, Josh.
I'm like, Erica, you know.
That's a very good point, Erica. That's a very good point.
The people at home are learning a lot about the panel tonight.
I'm a virgin.
Now, the therapist, remember this? Mr. Old Therapist here, he asked how his mom is, how Taylor's mom is.
Yes.
And Taylor's like, saying he wants this to be over. It's not about his mom, it's about him. He wishes he could ignore Eric online, but he's all over social media, which is really timely and interesting.
It is.
And therapist tells Taylor he needs to write about it. Well, Taylor says, I don't want to write about it. Did you ever have to write about stuff? And the guy says, yeah, I have books of writing I've done through therapy. Yeah. Any thoughts on that? Sort of is what it is, maybe.
I mean, yeah, I think
you just pretty much said the whole thing that happened.
What's that?
Perfect. Like, you gave a great summary of.
I know they say,
usually I summarize and then I say, what do we think?
Well, I know they say when you write things out or talk about it, it helps people kind of like sort out the feelings they have about it, you know, and that kind of thing. But the whole psychologist thing was just weird because on one hand, Taylor is acting like he wants to confront it, he wants to get through it, and on the other hand, he's effing with other guys and acting like it's not a big deal. This whole thing is not a big deal. He's so worried about his mom. This is not about him. So it's just, again, that kid, I'm just...
Yeah. And then this is just a sidebar. If you're going to go write about it, why go out into the middle of a park and write about it in the middle of the daytime? Like, go somewhere private and write about, your sexual demons. I thought that was like I don't know if that has any symbolism for something to come, but he took his notebook and just was like, it looked as if he was at school writing or in a place where someone he knew could walk up at any time and look at what he was writing. That was what stuck out of my mind. But Erica, to your point about him confronting, he did confront the guy who we thought maybe molested him, the mountain man looking with the beard.
Yeah, right. And I flipped 180 here.
Yeah. The man,
Nate, his name's Nate. He was the guy who Taylor stayed with while his mom was absent for a couple months.
Okay.
So, sorry.
Okay, no, I know what you're talking. I just want to say one thing about the whole social media thing.
Yeah.
I definitely felt him on the social media thing. Now, Facebook is doing that thing where they show you from years ago.
Oh, yes.
I don't want to see my ex-boyfriend from 2 years ago.
Or is that something you have to, sign up for?
No, it's automatic. No, it's automatic. They show you things you probably don't want to see from years ago, and I can see how that can drive someone probably crazy for him to see. But he has mutual friends with him. Constantly,
but you can block them. You can like on Facebook, you can block somebody.
But even if I'm sure he took him off his friends list and stuff like that. But I'm sure just having those mutual friends in common, he's seeing stuff that he likes. And I'm like, why is Eric even on Facebook right now? You're going through all of this right now, and you're on Facebook.
Yeah, but you know what? He didn't ask for this.
I'm in the dark. I must have missed this whole scene. I don't know what I was doing. Okay.
I understand. I'm not saying Taylor is a perfect Jesus-like character. Mm-hmm. He is flawed, like everybody in the show is. Yeah. But I guess I think you guys, in my opinion, are being a little harsh on him. If he needs to write in a park, write in a park. If he wants to be dating another guy, date another guy. He wants normalcy. And I would want that too if I was involved in this really high-profile mess.
Yeah.
I would think I would want some time to get myself together, you know, instead of bringing another person into the situation. And this guy was not somebody who was making a positive effect on him. He was saying stuff like, no, you weren't right. You know, you don't want to hear that when you
I agree. I think the guy's totally wrong.
Experience. So I'm like, Taylor kind of needs to take a step back and get it together.
And Taylor and everyone else, as we see towards the end of the episode, like, okay, so you had this huge alleged sexual assault. You had the captain's party, you had the drinking, you had the sex, you had whatever. That was one huge mistake. So now you have an opportunity to redeem yourselves. And each character, Eric, Kevin, Taylor, has chosen to continue to make stupid mistakes.
And Anne has. I think in this episode, Terry made some big mistakes. In fact, why don't we hop right now and talk to Terry, talk about Terry and Kevin and the LaCroix. We'll start with the lawyer telling them that she's suing Kevin. I'm sorry, I think Anne is trying to sue Kevin, right? Terry asks if she can protect her son. Like, she obviously is a concerned mother, and I get that. The son's about to go to college. We don't want this to destroy the son's life. I get it.
Why is Anne going after Kevin?
Because he's the adult. Is that why? And he
held the party. He was the captain of the team. Right. He's in the newspaper.
And he's 18.
And he's 18, yeah.
So that's so bizarre. I could see how Terry is very upset about that. Like, why are you singling out my son out of all these kids that you know partaked in this party and stuff like that? It's just, to me, I'm just like, does he have a bigger stake in what happened?
Well, because he's an adult.
Yeah.
By the law.
Yeah.
Terry then, in a couple scenes later, comes to the diner that Anne works at and says, "Your son is a whore. You'll get what's coming to you." I was like, okay. Oh, go home. Like, hide your face. This is not good for you.
That's crazy.
The police then come and ask her to leave. It seems like she hung out in the parking lot of the diner for a couple minutes after that happened.
Maybe she had a drink in the car in her flask, so she couldn't drive.
Yeah, good point. Maybe. You know? What'd you guys think of that? Terry's outburst in the diner.
I've been a strong supporter of Terry throughout this entire season, and I could not stand behind those actions. She, for the first time, showed genuine vulnerability, and she has put on such a game face from week to week to week. And I've looked at her as the pillar of strength and as someone who, you know, knows what she wants and pushes her own agenda, but for positive reasons. And then today last night rather, was completely uncharacteristic of what we've seen her portray.
Yeah, I think this episode was full of people breaking down. You had Leslie, who kind of at the end, you know, was like, let's just do a settlement. When she was all like, we got this, we're holding it down, you know? So I thought that was interesting that they showed Terry, you know, breaking from her strongness to like go out there and charge her up. I don't know if people still say that. Charge her up. Yeah. So I just
bum rush.
But you can feel it. I mean, you can feel the intenseness of what's going on. You know, like, my son, that's her only son, and you're ruining his life over something that he may or may not have like a large hand in, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm still behind Terry. I'm sorry, because that was, I mean.
What about her husband, though, at the end of the episode?
I don't know.
Josh, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say that no one can be 100% strong 100% of the time.
Sure.
So, and I use the same word in my notes about Terry in the last episode, is that she was vulnerable. Now we're seeing her vulnerable side, and as a mother, she is going to do everything she can to protect her son. And she just was filled with emotion and confronted the woman. I mean, now certainly you don't agree with it, but I think we could understand it.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Yeah, but I don't agree with it, because with so many legal ramifications that especially her son, who is the adult in the case, can have to suffer the consequences. Yeah. The last thing, I'm not saying she can't have a breakdown.
But sometimes you just forget all that.
But you know? when we're dealing with legal bitch, you need to forget that kind of stuff, because I mean you do. I'm sorry, like,
well, in a mode of passion, you can't always consider the ramifications. That's just.
So, Erica, do you agree with what the husband's doing?
What did he do?
So at the end of the episode, he says,
Don't watch it.
He's talking to this guy. I don't know if it's the
police officer.
Oh yeah, police.
Yeah.
He said, I can't do that because I'm police. He said, I'm gonna ask you to
get all their bones. Yeah, dig up stuff on them.
Yeah.
I think I kind of zoned out in that that scene. I don't know why. I don't think I realized that he was asking the police officer to be corrupt. Do I agree with that? I don't disagree with it. Because people who have money, people who have influence, people who are, I guess, higher in stature in their communities pull strings all the time to cover up their misgivings, to get ahead in their lives professionally, to protect their kids. So I agree with Michael going to a trusted detective, asking him to do something, asking him for a favor more than I agree with Terry going there showing her ass.
So he's just using his resources then.
Yeah.
No, but the only thing I don't agree with it, that I think they're forgetting that family is still a victim. And you're going to cause more pain to this family. So what are we doing, a back and forth? What's the end game? We're going to keep butting heads. So what's going to happen
An
at
eye
the
for
end?
an eye only makes the world blind.
So exactly. So that's in my head. They seem like, that they're the smarter ones and they know what they're doing and they have their stuff together. So what is the end game for y'all?
Well, and I think that's something that's so beautiful about this show. It shows people fighting, and no one wants to admit they're wrong, yet everybody is wrong. Everybody is responsible for what's happening.
True, I agree with that. That's,
I do not think Taylor is perfect.
Yeah.
I do not think he has handled this the right way. I definitely don't think Anne has handled this the right way. But the same could be said about Eric's family, and the same could be said about Kevin's family.
I agree. I agree with that.
Let's talk about the other school, because we so rarely have time for that. Principal Dixon is dealing with this protest outside the school, yeah? Let me hear.
Like,
I don't know why.
I know you're bored.
Why you
Eric's
don't
like,
like this
what's the-
storyline?
Listen,
But we got to.
And we do, and you guys murder us in the mentions because we don't talk about the Thurgood Marshall School at all. I'm just going to say this. I empathize because, especially in the past year, minorities have been protesting. We've had the Black Lives Matter movement. We've had picket signs. We've had parades. We've had marches. So I know it's important. Like I have to parallel my own experiences with what these Latino students are going through, and I empathize. But I'm just over the storyline.
Well, Principal Dixon wants to handle this, right? Like he stages that meeting. What are we calling it? Hosts a meeting to discuss the protests and the suspensions. And the Hispanic parent yells. She says, "Stand up for what's right, not for what's black." A black parent says, "You need to raise your kids better." This is just a war of culture here. Yeah, please.
Since we're in school, I just don't get it because there were the facts. It's just like what's going on now. It's the facts. A young boy is unarmed and he gets shot by several police officers. Those are facts.
Right.
These were facts. There were 3 boys on 1. That's not a fair fight. So what are they
that's what
arguing
Principal
about?
Dixon
Where's
is.
the whole
Exactly. That's
race
what I'm
thing
saying.
coming from?
What is the argument about?
Well, I think the parents, who weren't there, the people who don't know what happened, are saying you're racist.
Because
No way.
why?
Well,
because in their mind, right, and I'm not saying this is right, but in their mind, there were 4 people involved, and out of those 4, the 3 to be suspended were all Hispanic.
They were the ones beating up on the kid.
Right.
It's
And we
logical,
saw
Why is
that.
this even?
And we saw that.
But I do want to say this, and I know you guys don't think I follow this storyline. I do. I'm over it, but I follow it. One of the parents said, "You don't even want to feed our kids." So, and that goes back to one of the first episodes where they had the back and forth about the school lunches. So I think the Latino parents have some built up resentment, not just from the fight, but from feeling as if the administrators aren't having the kids' best interest at heart, not just from the fight, but from other instances and incidents.
You know what I would love the principal to have done, Principal Chris?
To retire?
No, he should have said, "Parents, your 3 kids were beating up on 1 boy. What would you like me to do? Your kids were fighting in school. What exactly would you have like me to do?"
But it just goes to show that when race is involved, things get really complicated. Right? Like if this show was all about white people or all about Hispanic people or all about black people, I think a lot of the drama wouldn't exist.
That's true.
So I agree with you. In this case, I think the principal was right to suspend those 3 kids. But I understand how it looks bad.
Yeah.
He's just playing by the book, I think. And everything he does, he seems to be a by the book kind of guy.
I don't buy that though. I don't. It seems on the surface, because there's no way that these writers and John Ridley are giving us this pedestrian storyline for it to really just be this pedestrian.
I mean, it's not. There's going to be something to it in the future, I'm sure, but we don't know yet what it is.
I think the plot twist with this story is that Chris Dixon.
He was the one that raped Taylor.
No.
Oh wow. No. So, somebody touched on it. Was it our guest? I'm sorry.
Kirk.
Yeah, Kirk. He's the heart of what's going. You know, everything else is crazy. We need some type of relief to go to, and I feel like that's what Chris is supposed to be, like that relief from everything else that's going on.
And last season, I thought that was Russ's character, and then Russ's character killed someone in the last episode. So maybe the stable guy will go crazy in the end.
Okay.
Why we keep?
Price, a guy watching at home, says Marshall is so whack. I hope they find some way to make me care about this storyline. So I think they agree.
Thank
with
you.
Some of us. The writers are too goof. I think he means good. Jack says the writers are too good for it to just be a random storyline. I totally agree.
I agree with that too.
And Aaron says this storyline will tie in. I believe that.
I believe that too. And I want to say, I say this every week. Chris Dixon, Principal Dixon, has an accent, and I think that he is a Latino person of African descent.
Just like I say this every week.
You guys,
say this again.
we got to talk about the man.
Why? Because he spoke in Spanish?
We got to talk about the guy with the 2 daughters and the computer. Okay, this. See, I know you hate this, but I love how American Crime does this. They plant seeds, they give us a little taste, and then you have to wait. You have to wait for the next episode or 3 episodes down the line. He gets a message on his computer saying, "Stop it, please stop it." And he writes back, "Now you know what it feels like to be assaulted." And we know it's his computer because his daughters are on the background, right?
Yeah.
What the hell? Who brought in that laptop in the first scene with him? And then what was going on? Does anyone know?
Honestly, I wish I would have talked to you before, because I'm over here looking back at the previous. I'm like, did I miss something?
Yeah.
In the other episode, because it was just like a little bit.
I thought he was just in a chat room. Maybe I missed something that would lead me to a more intelligent assumption. But I thought, maybe he's in like a freaky chat room.
Yeah.
Maybe the person the other end was Taylor, who likes it rough in a freaky, rough sex chat room.
No, there was something about
no,
assault.
too far-fetched.
Yeah, I don't know.
When the guy brought the hard drive in, I don't remember what the guy looked like from the last episode, from the last scene, but for some reason I thought it was the same guy who told Taylor's mom to keep going with the lawsuit.
Oh.
I could be wrong.
Was it?
I can't remember.
That was my first thought. And then I don't know. And maybe this cyber bullied single father guy is just like.
What was their story?
Is he a former student of Leland, or
no?
Could he be?
They didn't say really allude to anything about him.
Yeah, I think we just know.
Help us out there, guys, and let us know, because we missed it.
Yeah, and anybody at home, I'm looking at the chat roll. So if you have any ideas about what's going on with what's the actor's name? He played Hector last season.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the antithesis of his character.
Yeah.
I'm loving it, but I'm like, can I have some more? Because he was phenomenal last season.
So good.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll just see. We'll have to keep.
What have we not talked about? Maybe a little bit more about Leslie. Leslie, yeah, you mentioned she wants to offer a settlement. That was important to the plot line, and just so much. I know this wasn't everyone's favorite episode, but I do think many things happened in this episode. So whether that's good or bad, there was a lot to talk about. Let's quickly do some predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV prediction.
I'll do a quick prediction. The end of the episode ends with Taylor walking into the woods with a gun in his right hand. I don't think he's going to kill himself.
What?
Wasn't Taylor walking into
Yes, he was.
He walked into the woods?
with the gun in his hand?
With a gun?
Yes.
Are you playing?
Wait,
Taylor?
No, I missed something too.
Erica, you tweeted about.
He's getting chased.
No, the preview for the next episode.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
Oh, I didn't watch.
That's a big part of the
Yeah. Okay, so my prediction, guys, is that Taylor, although we see him walking into the woods with the gun in his hand, is not going to kill himself.
Everyone on the chat roll thinks he is, but yeah,
Wow.
you against the world.
Okay.
Gotta watch
you guys,
the
quick,
preview.
we gotta go. We're wrapping up. Sorry.
I think he's gonna get his ass kicked. That's my prediction.
I think that Kevin is going to be more part of the story than we know.
Okay, and I think that I know my prediction. I think the writer is going to publish that bad thing that Eric said, and that's going to be even more drama for Eric.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to stick true to his word to Leslie. We'll see. You guys, thank you so much for joining us. Real quick, we will tell you where you can find us. Once again, I'm Johnny Manganello. You can find me at Johnny Mangs on Twitter and Instagram.
I'm Erica Renee Davis. You can find me on Snapchat, Periscope, Twitter, and Instagram at Erica Renee D.
I'm Erica Jaye Green. You can find me on all social media, Erica Jaye Green.
And I'm Joshua Johnson. Find me on social media at JJ the Talented.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We love you. Mwah. Keep talking. Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.